Okay, welcome everyone. So I'm just going to run through the day for the. So obviously this event's taking place on the 7th of March, which is a Thursday. So when you arrive, you should report to the reception desk, and to get your name badge. So on your name badge, there'll be a blue or red sticker, and that's very important because that will determine which group you'll be in the afternoon. There's 72 publishers, but we're going to divide into two groups of 36. So whilst the first group is doing the speed dating, the second group will go through to the panel discussion, and then we'll switch over. So when you arrive, like I said, the first thing to do, I would suggest, is first obviously collect your name badge, and then go to place your samples in the bags provided. So we'll have 18 bags with the names of the retailers on the bags. I'll talk more about samples at the end, but just to say that the first thing I suggest is just get your 18 packs ready and put them in the sample bags. Then go and grab a coffee. I mean, it's a first opportunity to network. Say hello, chat to people, have a chat with me, have a chat with we're gonna have other council members there to give you extra support, sort of just to kind of ease yourself into it. And then we're going to start the speed dating. So as I said, the first group will stay in the room and do the speed dating, and then the second group will head to separate room to do the panel discussions. So within the 36, you're going to be split again into groups of 6. So not only on your name badge will you have a red or blue sticker, you also have a number 1 to 6. So you'll be grouped in groups of 6, and that's how you'll be doing the speed dating. So we have 6 nationals, 6 small groups, and 6 independents. So you'll be approached at the same time by either all the nationals, all the small groups, or all the independents. So no one will ever be missed out. And what happens is that the retailers select you. So you should be holding up a couple of your cards, 2 or 3 of your cards, just hold them up, and the retailers will come out, and then they'll just pick one of you to take into the den, and you'll get 10 minutes with that retailer. So this will happen 3 times. Like I said, you'll have it with a national, with an independent, and with a small group. So everyone is guaranteed at least 3 pitches. So once that group's finished, we'll have another break. It's another great chance to network. So introduce yourself to the retailers, speak to other publishers, and then we go around, then we do it again. So we switch over. So the people who are speed dating then go into the panel discussion. The people in panel discussion then go into the speed dating. So it's pretty straightforward. So on the day, I suggest that you bring with you business cards to give out to other publishers, to also give out to the dragons, a pen and notepad to make notes in the panel discussions, and also to make notes from your meeting with the dragons. Sample cards to hold up. So these are not your sample cards to put in the bags. These are the cards to hold up. So when obviously the dragons, the retailers come out, they can see your cards, and then obviously they can point to you. So I wouldn't bring a huge amount, just a good selection of maybe your top sellers, your favorite designs, and also bring a catalogue with you, because obviously you're not going to bring your whole portfolio of card designs, but if you want to reference anything, at least you have a catalogue with you. I would also, so those are the main things I would suggest you bring with you. Like I said, I'm going to go for the sample packs later, so I won't go into too much detail about that. I'll quickly talk about the panel discussions. So the panel discussions this year, it's International Women's Day on the 8th of March. So I decided to go with the theme of, obviously, successful women in the industry. So the panel will be a female panel. And I will confirm the names at a later date. We're just finalising the speakers now, but they'll be talking about topics relevant to the industry. So it's really useful. Again, you can ask questions in this session, and we're going to cover, we're going to have 5 speakers. So we'll cover 5 different topics, and the topics will be very, very relevant to you all in the industry. So I'm going to now pass on to Sean. So Sean, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Sean Austin. I'm the owner of Austin & Co. in Malvern in Worcestershire. I'm quite late to retail. My background is started in the diplomatic service after school, and then I went into librarianship, and then into business research, including a year at WH Smith head office, and finally in corporate law. So completely different to where I am at the moment. What got me into cards was the fact corporate law at the time of the credit crunch in 2008, I had to make up the difference. My contracts were getting much shorter, so I started to sell greetings cards on car boots and markets. It literally was free for a pound, but that's where I learned my kind of honed my kind of retail skills. It was amazing how much I kind of picked up from other traders on the market. Some people still say I still work like a market trader, but indoors. So we're a small independent. We're based in Malvern, a market town in Worcestershire. Being independent, though, it's a bit of an oxymoron. I mean, we all have our own ways of working and how we brand our business, but you'd be surprised at the number of similarities between independents. For example, I have a bestie in the business, and it was quite early on that I found out we both opened on exactly the same day 13 years ago, but we're in different parts of the country. And when we first met, we were surprised that we matched each other on 80% of our stock. So just because you're an independent, it doesn't mean that we're completely unique. What applies to one independent probably applies to another one as well. So what do I look for in a card? I guess the first thing is obviously design. It's the first thing we pick up on, and it's probably what makes my shop different to other independents in the area, and multiples too. Customers appreciate the quirkiness and uniqueness of the offer in the shop, not just an individual card, but how all the cards are curated as one. So you probably need to do your research in terms of will your cards fit into a particular shop, either checking them out on Facebook or Insta, or even better, visiting shops you'd like to supply. One advantage I find of dealing with smaller publishers is the ability to fill a gap in my range that may not be covered by the likes of Woodmanstone or the Great British Card Company, etc. One example was, for 13 years, I was constantly being asked for a welcome home card. And I looked everywhere. I was pretty sure it didn't exist. And then meeting a card publisher in a bar after hours at Harrogate, it was like, well, I can do that. And Bob Joan called it in the next week or so, a welcome home card will be appearing on the shelves. But it's also the ability to react to trends too. I mean, this year you've seen the likes of cards related to Barbie coming out, but I've been surprised by the number of publishers who's managed to create a card relating to Diane from The Traitors the day after she got murdered. It's that kind of reaction that you get from a small publisher. Not just immediate trends though, but you need to kind of, I'm looking for people who kind of researching what trends may come in the future. My time at WH Smith was looking at future trends, where we were looking at Christmas 4 years ahead. People wonder, how on earth can you do that? But looking at trends and forecasting what may be on the shelves then. But if there's one piece of advice, buy the Vogue Paris issue every spring. What appears on Paris catwalk in spring trickles down. In 4 years' time, that would be the trend that would be appearing on the shelves. I always look for something that I can't replicate myself. They always say that all card shop owners, we all have a range or two in our head. We're all budding card designers, but we just haven't got the time to bring it to the shelves. Therefore, I probably won't be looking for something that I could replicate by sitting in front of Canva for a couple of hours in the evening. You know, I'm looking for something that would stretch me considerably. I like to look for longevity in design, a card design which would have some life in it. For example, about 90% of my Valentine offer this year doesn't mention the word Valentine, but you know, it's able then to transfer over into just general level anniversary cards in the future. Price point is very important in a card shop. I'm still a strong believer in the £3 card. I've always seen a card in the same kind of category that somebody would be prepared to pay maybe a cup of artisan coffee, well, out of London anyway. But I may go over, especially when you're looking at the board of a card, the finish. If it's a letterpress card, I'm gradually edging into the 350, 375 territory for cards, but it does depend on the overall finish of the card. I love a decent board of a card. I'm a bit of a paper freak. I mean, you've got my attention at 300 GSM, but also think of the envelope too. I once bought a range of cards and the envelope was the deciding key. And shallow, I know, but the tissue-lined envelope got me. But the card was nice, but the envelope sold it to me as well. Where are the cards printed? I mean, a quality card comes from a quality printer who uses quality board. Every so often I get people coming to the shop, local people wanting me to sell their cards. And there's a very famous photographer here whose images are out of this world. And he brought his cards in and they were tinted cards. And I put it on the counter and it went flat in 2 seconds. And I looked on the back and there was a huge Vistaprint logo. It's just, you've got to imagine the mantelpiece appeal of a card, whether it is going to stand the test of time, whether the person who's receiving it, you know, they turn the card over and they see a Vistaprint logo and think, oh, they kind of skimped on the quality there. Naked cards, I have no issues with them personally. Being an independent shop, you tend to be on top of your displays constantly. I mean, I have slight OCD issues, so I'm constantly going around kind of tidying the shelves all the time. And I can count on the fingers of one hand the number of cards that I've actually lost to damage that have been naked. Personally, Class, when they came in, they were like a halfway house while the industry was looking for a solution to Cellos. But in all honesty, that I lost more cards through Clasp being used than those being completely naked. You'd be amazed the number of people who customers would come in and tear off the clasp to see what it would say inside, even though it would say it was a blank card on the outside. Further green issues. I mean, as I mentioned, I mean, design is very important, but I won't buy a range just because they're the greenest cards out there. Design has to be there, and so does the quality of the card. I once saw a range where the eco credentials were, you know, were unbelievable. You know, sustainable cards, but the paper quality, and when I put an ink pen to it, the ink just feathered and bled. So if you, it kind of defeats the object if you've got a card which is very, very green, but you can't actually write on it. Size is important for cards. As you might notice, my fixtures are fitted, so whether it's card rack or whether it's a spinner, you need to kind of get you need to know your sizes. I'm a big fan of an A6 card, mainly because I can get more designs across a meter shelf. So you know, I can then offer a greater selection, but also kind of research pocket sizes in spinners. I once had a new range from a publisher I bought from before, but they'd upped the size of their square cards to the point where I couldn't physically put them into the spinner, and then I had to find an alternative solution. Card sizes also come into play for my customer as well. You know, you get to the point where if your card is too big, then you go into large letter territory, and that kind of puts people off buying a card, especially if they have to post it. Also, with spinners, most come with like a 6 or a 7 or 8 drop each side, and again, my OCD comes into this, that I like to see 6 or 7 of the same design from the same publisher on each side. If you've only kind of got 4 or 5 designs, that kind of plays with my mind a little, and it has in the past kind of put me off purchasing those cards. It's the same with racks. My card racks, they're tiered, so they may show 60 to 70% of the actual card face. So if you've put all the text of at the bottom of the front of the card, the chances are that the customer won't be able to see it, which then means that they go along lifting up every card to read it. And again, it just makes running the shop a little difficult. But moving on from the front of the card, maybe looking at the back of the card. I mean, customers and the people who receive their cards, you know, they're generally interested in who made the card, what the image is, whether it's recyclable, and whether, you know, for example, whether it is a standard postage or whether it is a large letter. In the same way you're considering how to pitch to a dragon in a couple of weeks, consider the back of your card as the pitch to your purchasers. So we've gone through the whole thing at the Dragon's Den. I mean, you know, you've got my attention, but you know, I may then, you know, I might consider placing an order, but you need to know, you know, what your T's and C's are going to be. For example, what will your minimum order be? Don't forget, you know, you may be new, so I may only want to test the waters. Carriage paid minimums are great, but I do like a lower minimum, even if I have to pay carriage. It's a given that the first order would normally be pro forma, then subsequent orders usually on 30 days. But I know some publishers, pro forma would be their model for every order they put in. But that may delay replenishment depending on how quick a card is flying off the shelves. I know some publishers have considered using wholesale marketplaces like Faire as a way of circumnavigating the issue of pro forma. In one way, not only do you get paid once you deliver the items, but it also means that I can go straight onto 60-day terms through Faire. Exclusivity, I'm one of those rare ones where I'm not so hung up on it as a lot of retailers out there are. I mean, obviously there are some brands I would absolutely die just to keep them stocked in the shop, but I do that by ordering regularly with them and the relationship we've had. I mean, I started 13 years ago, and there's still some publishers who've been with me from day one, and they continue to be bestsellers. But loyalty, you know, it goes both ways, and it's a long game. I had one publisher who supplied me, and then I was walking past another shop, and I noticed that shop had the same publisher, and then I found out they'd gone with them because they put a bigger order in. Fast forward a year and a half, I had a call off that publisher, and I said, well, I can't take you because the other shop has them. And they said, oh, they stopped ordering from us 6 months ago, and now they're calling me back to see if I would go back with them. I haven't as yet. but it's that thing whether or not you're looking for those really big orders to, or are you looking for someone who does several small orders over a period of years? I also understand that I wouldn't want to hold you to ransom. One thing about being a small business is that you know how small businesses work and you want to help small business. So just one minimum order per year, I mean, does that entitle me to exclusivity? I mean, you could lay down terms that you'd expect certain levels per annum, or if I've not ordered off you within the last 6 months, then maybe that relationship would come to an end. The only caveat I would put to that would be to kind of get in touch with me before you do move on elsewhere. I wouldn't be offended if someone else stopped you. In Malvern itself, I've worked out there are 28 places you can buy a greetings card from, and that ranges from WH Smith, Waitrose, Sainsbury's, a number of independents, right down to a local hairdressers. So if I found your stock being, there are 2 of us in the same town stocking it, I've always been a firm believer it's not what you stock, but it's how you sell it. Going forward, I mean, we've already talked about keeping track of trends, but how do you see your range developing? Is there a strategy for world domination, or is this just a side hustle that could come to an end after my first order? Did you start planning for Christmas this year before you even opened the first window of your advent calendar last Christmas? Is there a long game? Also, in terms of continuity, do you have a disaster management plan? For example, if you're the sole worker in your business, what happens if you break a strong arm? I mean, have you ensured there's some continuity and backup of supply? Keeping in touch. I'm not a fan of spam. So yeah, don't spam, but flatter. I'm more likely to respond and develop relationships if I see likes and comments on my Insta feed than I would a MailChimp mail shot. If you're in the locality of one of your preferred suppliers, pop in and say hello. It's always a good excuse to see where your work may sit. And if you're already supplied, I know people love going to their suppliers to see their stock actually on the shelves, and even better when they happen to be there when somebody actually buys it. When you post about the fact you've got into your dream store, honestly, I don't burst into tears when you say Liberty. In fact, it's a positive for me that I stock cards that are stocked in Liberty, Fortnum's, or John Lewis. And and I can even use that as a selling point. There's one supplier, Dandelion Stationery. I was their second ever trade order some 12 years ago, and it fills with joy now that Jo is in over 300 stores in the UK. She's international, and even when I was on holiday in Chicago, I went into a shop and there was a Dandelion Stationery card on the shelves. I felt I played a very small part in her journey to get there by being one of the early adopters. And I just like to see how people progress and become successful. Saying that, be prepared for a long journey. It may not be instant. Don't expect a flood of orders coming from the Dragons event. Out of the 72 publishers at my last event, I went forward with 6, and the first order was made 18 months after the Dragons event. We all have current commitments with current publishers, and there's only so much space and card rack in the shop. But what the event will do, it will get you into my conscience and the view of many buyers who will be at the event. Many designers would bite off their right arm to get 10 or 15 minutes in front of a buyer from John Lewis or Card Factory, or should I say Austin & Co. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. That was absolutely brilliant. and really, really helpful. I think as Sean mentioned there, it's actually really important to research the retailers that are going to be at the Dragons event. Don't go in not knowing who they are. I think that's really important. So if please do that. I will release the full list of the names of the retailers and the buyers by email in a few weeks. So you'll have the full list very soon. So next we have Charlotte Green from Car Factory. So Charlotte, I think she focuses on buying for the London shops. Is that correct, Charlotte? I'm sure you can introduce yourself properly. And then she'll be also at the Dragons event on the 7th of March. So welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you for having me. I know Cheryl, one of our other buyers, had a lot of success last year from the Dragons, so I'm very excited to be involved. There is a little bit of crossover from what Sean has just said. So, you know, my meter is a little bit of the same, but we do work on the same values with just a slightly different with the Nationals and Independents. So just a little bit of a quick introduction about me. So my buying career actually started at Asda, where I was buying for 5 years. I then moved over to Card Factory 2.5 years ago, but very differently, I moved into the studio, where I was an assistant design manager. So I was planning all the new ranges, the markets, the trends, different finishes, and actually working with the designers to plan the new cards to put into the stores. 6 months ago, I then came back into the buying world for the Card Factory stores in London, which does work slightly differently to the main estate. We're looking at trialing different products, new third-party publishers, and looking in how our customers work differently. And that's kind of why I've been chosen to be the Dragons, to be one of the Dragons. So I'll just share some of my top tips for you. Sorry, but first of all, I'll just quickly talk about Card Factory. So as you're probably aware, Card Factory is a leading retailer of greeting cards. We do have over 1,000 stores, and it is massively a growing estate. Like I said, we're looking to work with more third-party publishers to offer just a point of difference for our customers in the current range that we do. Like I said, I worked in the studio, so we do have our own design capabilities, but we're also looking to have that point of difference and where we can step out of our comfort zone and where we can trial different products. And then these potential products that go into London also has potential to then be rolled out to the main estate. So our main estate is over 1,000 stores, so it's a massive potential to get them like really, really high orders. So what are my top tips? So first of all, I'm going to say design as well. What is your USP and how are you going to stand out to the Dragons? Card Factory are looking for something different. We're looking for publishers who can offer like breadth of choice for across genres and seasons. So, for example, have you got a really best-selling male range? Is it in your Father's Day range as well, just tweaked slightly differently, and where you can do that cross-category? We stock every season in every genre, so it's looking at, you know, your humour range, your classic ranges, and have you got that breadth of choice? It's always a positive to have a supply that can do lots of different genres and different seasons. We're looking for the quality of the design, and it's very important to us. So we also understand that as third party, you'll be working with independents, and you may not also want to have that same design in an independent who across the road have it in a Card Factory store. But what can we do differently? Can you do a bespoke range for us? Can we, you know, take your best selling and tweak it slightly? And we do that with lots of different third party publishers that we work with now. And we're happy and we're open to have that honest conversation with third party publishers. We also expect our publishers to have a look at what's in the market currently and what are the future trends. So we are constantly looking at the market and how we can move on, our price points, our trends, and the future of like even the environment and the what's relevant. So how can you then pop that into your designs and stand out as a third party publisher? It's kind of the same what Sean said. We've looking at different card sizes. We merchandise on racks, whereas if your caption's at the bottom of the rack, you're not going to be able to see it, so the customer won't pick it up. So we do suggest our captions try to be in the top third. And we always design like that. And lastly, for design, I'd say just be as commercial as possible. we want to know what your best sellers are and why they're working for you and why they're working for other retailers. So it's also bringing that and being that honest to us, like, this is our bestseller, we can do a version for you, or examples. My next point would be to manufacture. So it's just the quality of your finishes and your board. So what kind of board are you using? It's different to what we're currently ranging, and utilising different finishes on the design. So colours, foils, textures, etc., etc. You know, what's going to stand out? Have we got if you've done a neon range, that's going to really shout, and the customer's is going to be drawn to it when they see it on the rack. The same kind of similar things with what Sean said, MOQ and carriage costs, to be upfront straight away with us. Have you got an MOQ and what is the carriage cost? You might be thinking, why would Card Factory need to know the MOQ? Surely they'd hit that. But in London stores, we only buy for 4 stores originally. So we do like to know what the MOQ is and if that's something we're going to hit. We'd like to think, just also thinking about how you'd scale up the manufacturing. So there is that potential of, if it works well in London, the main estate will take that card. And it's how you can scale up from, you know, potentially supplying for 4 stores, but then supplying to 1,000, and how fast them delivery turnarounds would be. Another top tip for me is relationships. So I'm a massive people person, and we want to know about you and how you started this business. And so introduce yourself. You know, I want to get to know the person behind the cards and behind the design. And it's really important to have that open, honest relationship with each other. Yeah, price point and cost is a massive thing for a national, especially for such a big corporate business. But it's also how we can work together to make sure it's right for you and it's right for us as well. And then lastly for me is sustainability. So it is at the forefront of everybody's mind. We have to make sure our cards are FSC. We want to make sure that we have no plastic. So a little bit different is we ask for no seller wrap, but however, if it's going to damage the cards, we would ask to use biodegradable seller wrap. But we are trying to go plastic free. So no seller wrap. We wouldn't like to have plastic gems or plastic handmade attachments and any glitter. So it's just how we can use alternatives, like alternative finishes to use instead of glitter. We can do fluted foils, stuff like that, or where we can change the plastic gems out. Is it wooden attachments? Is it just something a little bit different? But I just think sustainability, our customers are looking for, and it's definitely something that we can shout about over social media and PR and everything like that. So it's massive on our radar at the minute. And we've currently just launched our seeded cards into Valentine's Day, and we've had some really great PR around it. So it's just how we can also innovate within sustainability. And then lastly, I just wanted to say, and I know we're going to talk about samples, is just trying to get your best samples in front of the buyers. You know, if you've got samples to hand, it's more likely they're going to go away, relook at them and rebuild into the rack. But yeah, it's really exciting, and I know we've had some massive success. I mean, David from Rice on the call, I think Cheryl picked from last year, and it's been a massive success for us. He's gone on Christmas range, Valentine's range, and so on. So yeah, we're excited to meet new publishers.
Great, thank you, Charlotte. We had we did have really some great feedback from Card Factory from last year, that obviously working with some of the publishers that were at the Dragon's Den last year. So that is really positive to know. And also, I think what Charlotte touched on was the fact that she worked, you know, for a different, you know, retailer before. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity for this event to network, to get to know the buyers, because buyers do move around as well. So to just start forming those relationships, even if you don't get to pitch, you know, to that particular retailer, still say hello to them, speak to them at the coffee breaks, you know, really maximize your day, you know, to make those contacts, introduce yourself. Okay, so Charlotte did touch on a bit about the green issues in terms of, and, you know, as well as Austin about the print quality. So we're really pleased that we've got Tony from Loxley's here to discuss print solutions and eco solutions. So I'll pass over to you, Tony.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tony Lorimer, Managing Director of Loxleys. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit about Loxleys, what we offer, eco solutions, and hopefully what we can do to help. Can I just share my screen, Adriana?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so hopefully does that look right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of Loxleys, a little bit of an introduction. So we're based in Sheffield. We're the largest independent manufacturer of greetings cards in the UK. We produce around 100 million cards a year for a wide range of publishers, and that's large publishers, but it's also small publishers. So we work with people of all sizes. New businesses, established businesses, people on a growth journey, a whole range of publishers really. We specialize in cards. That's all we do. We just manufacture cards. We're experienced, so the company's been around for 170 years. We've been producing cards since 1980, so we've got a lot of experience in terms of what we do. Our services, so we basically offer everything that you could possibly want in terms of a greeting card and manufacturing a card. So we offer digital print, and we've got a digital print department. We offer litho print, we offer specialist finishes, and then we offer packing solutions. And off the back of sort of the manufacturing services that we offer, we provide help and support and advice to our customers around any aspect of card production. So we love to get involved with product development. We can advise around creating artwork. We can help with board types. So we work with all the main board suppliers, the likes of GF Smith, Fedrigoni, etc. We can help around finishes. We can help around packing solutions. So we like to get involved, and we sort of like to help on that product development. So in terms of digital, so the digital service that we offer is a reliable, high quality digital print service. So it's not a Vistaprint sort of solution. We print on all the boards that we print on litho, we print on digitally. So we've got a wide range of boards, again, the GF Smith products, the Fedrigoni products, and basic boards as well. But it's a high quality solution. You could put one of our digital cards next to a litho card, and you really couldn't tell the difference. The quality is just like litho. We don't have a minimum order quantity on digital, so you can literally order what you need, order what you want. We have a standard 10 working day turnaround. It's CMYK 4-color print, and then we have a range of finishes. So UV varnish, digifoiling, which is foiling without a foil die, so there's a minimum setup. We cut, we fold, and we pack the cards if the publisher wants us to pack the cards. And as I said, a wide range of boards. On the litho side of our business, this is much more large format. So we've got a 7-color B1 litho press. So we can get, as an example, we can get 16 Euro 7B5s on a sheet. We can get 18 A6 cards on a sheet. So it's a more cost-effective solution than digital, but it's for much larger volumes. And the litho print is a real sort of small part of what we do. The rest of our factory is really taken up by finishing equipment. So we offer a wide range of finishes, UV varnish, hot and cold foil, embossing and die cutting, glitter and eco glitter, cutting and folding, obviously, and then a massive wide range of packing solutions. So we price label, we nest, we secure seal, we paper band, we flow wrap, we single bag. We literally do everything that you could possibly need for a card. And our solution's completely flexible, so people can dip in and out. They can have cards back unpacked to pack themselves. We can do the packing. We do some cards that are just printed, no finish. We do cards that are massively finished with 3 and 4 finishes. It's, whatever the customer wants, whatever the publisher wants, we can sort of tailor what we do to that publisher, really. So just wanted to touch on some of the eco solutions. So this really sort of started and became a thing back in December 2017. So off the back of the documentary Blue Planet 2, the war against plastic started, and the greeting card industry took a stance really and started looking at plastic removal. So prior to that Blue Planet 2 documentary, single bagging cards in plastic and plastic-based glitter was the norm. Plastic-based glitter was one of our biggest sort of demand finishes. And a lot of what left our factory was single bagged in plastic. But since that point, us and our sort of competitors and other people doing what we do, we've come up with eco solutions, and the industry's gone relatively plastic free, commonly known as naked. So we offer a wide range of eco solutions. I think one thing to say, and I think you've probably already picked this up from the two retailers who have spoken. One solution doesn't fit all. So different retailers want different solutions. I think it's really important that as a publisher, you sort of give people options and you tailor your cards to individual retailers. So that's what we have to do. We have to be flexible. We have to offer a wide range of solutions. And I think the other thing to point out is that plastic is still used. So we do still single bag cards in plastic, and we do still use traditional plastic-based glitter. There is still people who want that. There's retailers who are happy with that. So again, we need to be flexible and offer everything. So I guess the first solution, eco solution, or the easiest solution is the card being naked with the envelope nested in the middle of the card. And nothing sort of holding the two together. So that we'd call that nested, and that's quite a simple solution that we can do mechanically. We can then offer the secure seal or the clasp label, depending which manufacturer you're talking to. Some will call it secure seal, some will call it clasp. So we offer that. So that's the branded Easy Peel label. Otter House, you can see in the example. So a branded Easy Peel label that wraps around the card and holds the card and the envelope together. I think just sort of need to point out that this isn't a perfect solution. Sean mentioned earlier that there can be occasional damage to cards. The longer the cards have been stored, the more likely there is to be damage when that label's peeled off. So you need to make sure that you test the label on the card, get some samples off your potential supplier. We've done loads of work with label manufacturers and sort of really developed, or the label manufacturers have developed the secure seal so that it's as good as it can be, but it's not 100% perfect in all occasions. And then obviously cards tend to be sold in sixes, 6 cards, 6 envelopes. So the traditional method of keeping 6 cards and 6 envelopes of distribution is to put them in a bag. And we still do that for a lot of people, and the bag's ripped off behind the scenes, and you don't get the plastic in the store. However, what we are doing nowadays is we're starting to do a lot of paper banding. So we're holding the 6 cards and the 6 envelopes together with a paper band and removing that secondary plastic packaging. So those are sort of 3 plastic-free eco solutions. It was mentioned earlier that some retailers still want bags. So the environment that the cards are displayed in is maybe not suitable for naked cards. I'm thinking sort of garage forecourts, garden centres, that type of thing. And the publisher and the retailer both want bags, but they don't want plastic. So there's a wide range now of plastic-free eco bags that all either biodegrade and industrially compost or biodegrade and home compost, and they're made from a wide range of materials, be it plant-based materials or be it sort of cellulose, wood pulp or wood grade materials. And there's 3 there: Nativia, Clarifoil, and Natureflex. Those are 3 brand names. All slightly different, but there's a wide range of eco bags available if you want to bag your cards, but you want to keep them plastic free. So again, if you talk to your manufacturer, talk to your supplier, they'll be able to advise you around what options they've got. I think I mentioned earlier that glitter was one of the most popular finishes, and still is. There's still glitter out there. But what is available and what has been developed is biodegradable glitter or bio glitter. And that's essentially a plastic-free glitter that's made from eucalyptus tree cellulose. So it's completely plastic-free. And we use a little bit of that. Again, I think a problem with that is when it's in store, when it's in a retailer, it just looks like glitter. So you need to be really good at communicating that it's bio glitter and it's eco-friendly. Similarly with the eco bags, to a consumer looking in store, they just look like plastic bags. Again, you need to be making sure that you're communicating that they're eco-friendly bags. But yeah, there is a environmentally friendly glitter available nowadays that we use, available in all different colors. One thing that we have seen since the demise of glitter, we've seen a massive rise in the use of foil. So foil has really replaced glitter in some respects to get that shiny finish. And holographic foil is a good way of sort of mimicking glitter. There was a little bit of a concern at one point that cards with foil weren't recyclable because foil's metallic. However, that's not the case. Because it's such a thin layer on the board surface, it has been confirmed that greetings cards with a foil can be recycled and there's no issues there. So foiling's good. A couple of finishes that we came up with, and it's interesting that Charlotte mentioned about not having plastic gems. So we've come up with a finish that basically replicates plastic gems by using foil. So we call it gem boss, but you can see in the image there, you've got a sort of a gem shape that's created through foil. And we can do something similar with sequins. So we can replicate what sequins would look like through the use of foil. And these sort of foil finishes we can do in a range of colors and a range of sizes. So a little bit of innovation that we've come up with to work with people there. And then really from a sort of Dragons context, we'd love to help you. We'd love to work with publishers on their sort of Dragons journey. So our pitch, if you like, we'd love to sort of help you with your product development. Not a lot of time left before the Dragons event, but if anybody's working on new ranges, if anybody wants any help and support and advice, we're more than happy to work with you one-to-one on sort of any aspect of card production, anything that I've mentioned. I think a positive about our digital offer is that there's no MOQ, so you can order what you need. So it's been mentioned by everybody about having good quality product samples for the Dragons event. So if you need some finished product samples, we can produce those for you digitally. We can obviously help with your new ranges and your reprints, but specifically around Dragons, we can help you with your samples. We've got a 10 working day turnaround, so as I say, plenty of time to get your samples and get your new stuff sorted for Dragons. And then as a bit of an offer really to support people who are going to the Dragons event, we're happy to offer a 20% discount off your first digital order, and that's to anybody attending the Dragons event. So if you want any help and support, or you've got any questions around anything that I've sort of touched on, please get in touch with me. And essentially just good luck to everybody at the Dragons event. That's sort of it really.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Thank
Thank you. So I'm just conscious of time. Sean, should I take any questions for you now, or are you happy for me to carry on about samples?
Just carry on, that's fine.
So so obviously samples have been the sort of last sort of hot topic mentioned in the last couple of discussions, presentations. So I think the key thing is your samples need to be of the quality as if they were sold in the store. So no mock-ups, no samples, actual finished samples that they would be, if you were, that's how they would be, delivered to the retailer, how they'd be sold in store. So please, can your samples include envelopes so people can see the envelopes? You know, we know Sean likes a good envelope. So make sure you have samples that have envelopes with them. So you're going to have to bring 2 sets of samples. So the samples for the goodie bags. So there's 18 goodie bags, 18 retailers. So you have to bring 18 packs, 18 sample packs, and a maximum of 3 cards, absolute maximum. Any more, we're not including into the goodie bags because the dragons have to take these back. So maximum of 3 cards with envelopes, then bound together, so not loose. So you can put 3 cards in a bag and they need to somehow be attached, ribbon, a band, an envelope, just so they're all together. Also with so the samples are important. People think, oh, okay, I'm looking at 3 pictures, you know, there's 18 retailers there and they all look at their sample bags. I know a couple of years ago, John Lewis took 4 people and one of them had a pitch and the other 3 they were just from the samples. So it does happen. And someone else told me recently from last year, someone they didn't even pitch to, one of the retailers contacted them based on their samples. The samples are really important. So please, you know, pay as much attention to those as you do to your pitches. So you have, so back to that, you have, so 3 cards maximum, no catalogs, please. So just 3 cards maximum, your contact details, a business card, a letter, something that has your details, and maybe a message to the retailers about yourself. Think of something creative, you know, think of something that's going to grab their attention. That's why it's also important to think of each retailer, because you may tailor each sample pack differently for each retailer, depending who it is. So it's good just to know who the retailers are, and, you know, what they sell, you know, possible sizing, or, you know, just if you can do some research, please do some research. And then obviously the samples for the actual speed dating. So you need to bring some samples to hold up when you're speed dating, and also to show to the dragons during your meetings, so they can see the quality, see the envelopes, see the finishing, you know, see the clasp, see the cello, however you wrap your cards, please, you know, have that ready to present to them. I asked Miles Robinson from House of Cards. He has 7 branches, and his 3 top tips were: know your bestsellers, bring them with you, know your numbers, trade and retail, smile and enjoy the experience. I mean, he touched on some key points there. So know your numbers, know the difference between your trade price and your retail price, and also what the retailers sell at their retail price. You have no control over that, you know, but what you do have control over is of your trade price. Be realistic about it, do your research, look at what's in the market similar to yours. You know, you don't want to overprice. So you have to have a real understanding of you know, the cost of your cards. The cards are sold in 6s. I mean, I'm sure most of you know that already, but just that's something to know, they're sold in 6s as well. I always advise personally, it's my personal choice about the whole minimum. I always say, when I obviously no minimum order, because a retailer is going to do a sample, you'd rather them sample, as Sean said, and pay the carriage, you know, pay the delivery on it and trust your cards, and then come back with the second order, rather than you saying, oh, sorry, my minimum is £150 or whatever it is, and then you sort of talk yourself out of a possible opportunity there. So I always advise no minimum, but carriage paid is different. So the carriage paid is obviously your minimum for when they get obviously the delivery for free, that you can set at, you know, 100, 150, whatever you want to set. But I would advise just say no minimum order, and it's just easier. And you know, and you get your, you know, and it could obviously mean a retailer will just test your product and then result in a bigger order going forward. Yeah, I mean, just remember, it is such a fun experience. I know people thinking, oh, it's really scary, but it's such a nice industry. Everyone is actually so lovely. It's a chance to make new friends, make new contacts with the buyers, and just have a really enjoyable day. And just honestly, I'll be there on the day. It's fun. It is really fun. Just enjoy it. Don't stress. You know, it's all in preparation. If you're prepared, then it'll be fun. Okay, and I'm always here as well. If you have any questions, you can always ask me after this meeting as well. You know, I'm happy to answer questions. And same questions, we're moving on to the questions and open the questions to Tony, Sean, and Charlotte. So any questions? Sarah, you're on mute.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Two quick questions. One about the minimum order for litho cards. You were talking about, Tony, you were talking about the minimum order for digital cards being no minimum order. What's the minimum order for litho cards? Say if I wanted die cut or something.
So on litho, we'd normally say 1,000 sheets, and then depending on your card size, so using a sort of a 170, 120, 75 as an example, you can get 16 of those on a sheet. So you'd need 1,000 each of 16 designs. But if you're thinking specifically around die cutting, we can die cut individual cards. So we can die cut digital.
Okay.
If you're doing that, there is, because it's a sort of a traditional machine, there's a setup time and you need a die cut tool. So the best way to do that, if you can, is to have a common die cut shape for multiple print designs, and then you get the economies to make it affordable, essentially.
That brings me on to another question then. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You know the special finishes you developed, the using foil to look like sequins and what the other thing was, I can remember and visualize it, but I can't remember. Is there a minimum order for those special finishes?
No, not really. I mean, those we would tend to do those on litho. If we're doing them digitally, then rather than, again, it's not dissimilar to the die cut answer, in that we can foil digitally, but we can only do that when the foil's flat to the surface. So for the gems and the sequins, it's 3-dimensional foil, so it needs to be done with a die. So again, you need to buy a die. We need to set a machine up. So if you have a common gems and sequins on multiple print designs, you start getting the economies of scale.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank
I
you.
hope that helps.
I've got one more question. Sorry, just one more quick. Can we get a copy of your presentation, please?
Yeah, I was going to ask Adriana for everybody's email addresses. So yeah, I'll if she's kind enough to give me that, I'll send it out to everybody. Sure, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No worries.
Louise.
Hello, I'm Louise from Two Foot Illustration. I have a question for Sean of Austin & Co.
Hello.
Hi, I'd like to know, so I'm a greeting card publisher. I've got about 200 designs, but I'm currently pre-barcode. I don't barcode anything. Is that a deal breaker for you?
I don't barcode. I don't use barcodes at all. I still use a cash till with no EPOS. It's about 13 years old and it's been with me from day one. But obviously there are retailers out there who have moved on a bit more than I have in terms of wanting it. So that's something you need to consider.
Yeah.
Whether it's a deal breaker for them, but for me personally, no.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
So
Nikki?
that's about it that should be barcoded or not on the back, because she's a small, not in a small.
Nikki?
Hi. With regards to the samples, I got into a mess last year at Dragon's Den because I personalised them, which wasn't a great idea because the retailers weren't in alphabetical order. So I was going up and down trying to find. So is it okay not to personalise the samples?
Yes, if that's your choice.
I mean,
what
I would like to personalise them, but because it's not in alphabetical order, it doesn't work like that. So I just wondered if would that appear rude not to personalise?
I guess,
your
I mean,
samples?
Isn't it just more about just taking extra time to sort them into the order? If you personalise it, it's just obviously harder to
Oh yeah, it's just because the retailers weren't in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So you've got a minimum time when you're there.
Okay.
And I was just going up and down looking.
But you don't know what, it depends. If you, I mean, if like example, you can, I say do it at the beginning, so just come early and just have extra time to make sure you've got time to put the samples in the bags. I'd say. I mean, personalizing I think is better if you can. It's just nicer. I mean, would you agree, Sean? Having a personalized sample pack rather than a generic one would be.
Especially as Dragons is taking the day before my birthday.
Take note, everyone. I would say, I mean, it's 18 bags, so it's just
Yeah.
if you feel like you need a bit longer to sort out which order the bags are in, yes, then I would still say personalize it if you can. It's just going to have more of an impact if you think about each retailer, you know, who's coming. And
Absolutely agreed. Is it okay to have a seating plan of where they will be before we turn up, so I can? Maybe it's just my brain. I can't.
You know what, Nikki, if they're there all day, you can, you know, if you can do it, you can do some packs later. If you run out of time in the morning, you can finish it later, and I'll help you. If you bring them to me, I'll do them for you. If that's
I'll
easy.
just hand them to you when
Yeah, all right.
arrive.
That's maybe the easy
Okay.
option.
Okay.
Lauren.
Hi, thanks so much. It's a really insightful session already. I feel really excited about the day. Adriana, really early on in the session, you mentioned something about the 3 groups of dragons that will be meeting, and you said national, independent, and small group.
Yeah.
I don't have an understanding of what you mean by small group. Do you think you could explain that a little?
So a small group could be, I would say anything between 5 to 17 shops or something. Because I think between the lines is a small group, and I think they've got about 17 shops. So yeah, so that's about that grouping.
And between the lines would be an example of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
No, and House of Cards, they've got 7. So it's just they cover like an area. So a national covers obviously the whole country, and a small group maybe just covers the southeast, or you know, centre, or you know. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me? It's Lizzie.
Yeah, hi,
Sorry,
Lizzie.
My picture on. I had to put my picture on. I don't know how to do that. Oh, I'll just ask a question, and I'll send you a picture or something. I was going to ask about the presentation. Would it be okay to have your iPad and have a digital, like link to your website, so you can show them the whole range, or would it be better to have, I don't know.
In the past, people have had iPads, and I personally think it's fine. I mean, Sean, do you have a preference on iPads or a catalog?
Because I don't have a catalog, so catalog.
Yeah, iPads are absolutely fine. iPads absolutely fine. Charlotte, would you agree that's absolutely fine with Card Factory as well?
Yeah, I think if you've got something you can show your more breadth of range, and why not bring it? It's more of a positive for us to see a bit more.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You can't bring everything also. Yeah.
No.
If you don't have a catalogue, I'm not going to say invest in printing out a cost of a catalogue.
No, I just wondered how, because I've only been to see one supplier so far, and I literally laid all the cards out on the floor in their shop, so it was easy peasy. But going forward, I wondered, should I have a physical catalogue that I send out to people, or can I just link them to my website?
I think if you bring your iPad with the designs on, and then you've got your samples with the quality of finishes, you know, we see the quality of finish on the samples that you've brought, and then obviously you've got your designs.
Designs online. Brilliant. Thank you, Sean. Thanks, Sean.
I have a question, please. It's Natalie from Happy Street.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi. I know you said not to include a catalogue in the sample packs, but would you suggest like doing a contact sheet of the other cards? Because if you're just doing one from like a range, would it be good for them to see the rest of the range? Or if they like the range, would they then go and look at it?
Well, that's the thing. It's a sample. So if they like what they saw in your samples, then it would obviously, that's what I said, put your contact details within the packs. So
yeah,
you know,
contact details, but not necessarily pictures of the rest of the range.
No, because if they see something they like, I'm sure they will then go to your website. I mean, obviously Sean and Sean, obviously you've done this before. So what would you say in terms of in the past with the samples? What have you done?
Yeah, I've basically gone off the samples, and then I've kind of investigated it further when I've got back. I mean, just something on a contact sheet, even a QR code to your website, or a PDF of your catalogue, but nothing more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I've had a few questions in the chat. So so the retailers, you will get the list of retailers and the names as well. So you get the names of the retailers. So you've got Sainsbury's, John Lewis, Sean Austin, but also the names of the buyers. So their actual names of who will be attending. And I will email that out to you. We're just finalizing a few last retailers now. Once that's finalized, you will get the full list. So not to worry, that'll be done by email. And you will receive that. And so not to worry, you will get that way in advance of the event. And so what we have is we'll have some kind of, it'll be a bag probably, where with the retailer's name on the bag. So when you arrive, it's clearly labeled, so you know which sample pack goes into which bag. So yes, I mean, what we've done which we'll probably do this year, we put the bags by their chairs. So in the den section, we have the bag by their chairs. So when they sit down, obviously it's there for them. So
Cool.
So someone's just asked another question is, how many cards do we need in the meeting, please? That's a good question. I would say, Sean, Charlotte, what would you say is a good amount of samples to bring to the den for you guys to have to hand?
I would say anything between 6 and 12 tops. I wouldn't want to kind of go through a whole pile.
Yeah, I think make sure there's the choice. So if you've got not just one range, make sure there's different ranges and for different customers in there as well. Have you got a humour range? Have you got a classic range? I think just to show the difference in your designs.
And then another question was, what is a good structure for your pitch? I'll put that into Charlotte and Sean. In terms of pitching to you as the Dragons, what is a good structure?
I think Charlotte touched on it earlier. It's about kind of getting to know the publisher. I mean, to actually kind of start off with a little introduction about yourself and your background. I wouldn't kind of go straight into, the first thing you say is, this is my top seller, you must have it, etc., etc. I think you need to kind of create a backstory.
Yeah, I agree. Introduce yourself, how you got to doing your business, and where does your design inspiration come from, etc. Stuff like that. I think it's just nice to get to know, get to know the publisher in front of us, and then obviously talk us through your bestsellers and why you think they're a bestseller. You can touch on what price point they sell currently in retailers. It doesn't mean if we go with it, we retail at that price, but it's just good to know how much people are retailing them at.
Any other questions?
Hiya.
Hi Sylvia.
Can I just ask, is there a suitable time frame to contact people after the event? Because I've done, sorry, it's my cat. I've done I've done trade shows and things before, and people say, oh, contact them like a couple of days after, and then some people say I get contacted by a whole load of people directly after. Some people say leave it a week, and then you don't want to leave it too long. You don't want to be in with the crowd of people. What is the kind of good time frame to contact people after?
I personally, I mean, straight after you are fresh on people's minds. So I personally, I think it's quite a personal opinion as well, wouldn't mind if you just dropped an email saying, thanks for me today. This is a link to website. There will be, obviously, if everyone does that, there'd be a lot of emails. So even if it's just a chaser email the week after, or have you had a chance? I mean, your day job is so busy, but if you keep chasing, or you keep, not spam, I liked what Sean said. It's not, don't spam, we don't like the spam, but it's just a quick reminder. I mean, I don't have like Card Factory Instagram or anything for you I won't get that. So a quiet reminder on an email, I don't mind. A chaser email, really. I mean, that doesn't, to me, I'm not bothered if it's, I don't know, Sean, you might be differently, if it's the day of or a couple of days after that, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget it's happening on a Thursday, so and I quite like to have like a quiet weekend or whatever. So yeah, maybe leave it until maybe the beginning of the following week. But yeah, just a gentle reminder that, you know, we saw each other, blah blah blah, and just so that because it's going to be a hectic day with seeing all these publishers and buyers, and just a reminder of, you know, who saw who, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Richard.
Oh, hiya, it's Marit actually, sorry.
Oh,
It's
sorry, other name. Sorry.
from Apricot Cards. We wondered, how long do you actually have to do your pitch? How long does it take? How long do you have?
You have 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
Questions?
right, okay.
Does that include questions?
Well, the thing is, you've got 10 minutes in terms of the pitching with the obviously with the dragons, but you also have 2 coffee breaks as well. So you use the opportunity to have a say hello, have a, you know, I wouldn't say pitch your coffee breaks, but it's a good chance to have a chat and say hello to someone, introduce yourself, you know, because you know your samples are in their bags as well. But yeah, so you have 10 minutes to so in that 10 minutes, introduce yourself, ask any questions as well if you have any.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I mean, I remember from last year, a lot of people do end up having a chat at the end of it. You know, you sort of do your pitch, show your samples, and then, you know, ask questions. I think you do have time. So.
Yeah, okay. The only other question I had was in relation to barcodes, which I know was a question previously, and I think Sean said that he doesn't use barcodes, which is fine. But I just wondered if you know, the larger retailers may insist on having a barcode. So I just wondered if you know, if that was the case or not.
Yeah, sorry, just I'm guessing that was kind of directed at me, but
yeah, it was.
Yeah, sorry, Charlotte.
No, it's all right. We definitely would need a barcode. We'd need a selling something to scan on our tills, and we'd have to set that line up. It would have to be printed on the back. We can provide a barcode number. It would to put onto the back of the card. It would just mean you guys would have to print it.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine, yeah.
I guess that's obviously where if you haven't got, I assume you're not using barcodes at the moment.
No, not yet. No, and we're just wondering, you know, whether we would need one and how we go about doing that. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you can, it's always good to do it early, because then it's just done. And you know, if you're early on, just get it done. Then it's done. And you know, I know. I mean, I know printers can help with also laying out barcodes. There's a great article on the GCA website about barcodes. But you literally buy a set of them, and then the numbers, and then you generate the image into the barcodes.
Yeah. Okay.
And as obviously Charlotte suggested, some of the retailers can provide you barcodes, but I think it's obviously good to, if you can, show.
Yeah.
Back.
If we provide the barcode, obviously then that's unique to us. So if you would like to then use it with a different retailer, you know, might not work. So you either can have your own barcode, or we can provide it for a bespoke card factory scheme.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right. If there's no more questions, well, I'll just say again, just quickly, just to summarize that, you will get the list of retailers ahead of time, so not to worry. And there's lots of articles on the GCA website relating to barcoding and other subjects, and also Tony's available for any printing advice. I know also printers generally can help with barcodes as well, Tony. I've realized in the past as well. Okay, printers can help with that. And if you have any questions, obviously feel free to contact me. But thank you. I want to thank obviously Sean and Charlotte and Tony for giving their time this morning. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in I don't know how long it is now, but on 7th of March at the event. And like I said, have fun with it. It's, you know, I'm here to support you. We'll offer you lots of guidance and support before then, so please just contact me if you have any questions. And also please make sure your profile is updated on the GCA website as well, because we asked the retailers. So the membership directory on the GCA website, we do point the retailers to that for them to do their research beforehand, because they get sent a list of your names as well beforehand. And we point them towards the GCA membership directory. So please make sure that's up to date. Okay. Anyway, so thank you everyone, and I hope you have the rest of the good day, good week.
You too. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Really
you.
helpful.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I think Emily's just asked if there'll be a recording of the